now? Or no?
Hello?
Hello, hello.
Hello? Oh, good.
Yeah, we're going to have to try.
No echo. All right.
All right.
You guys can hear me still?
Right.
Yeah, that's simulcast.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. So, sorry, let's start over again.
There we go.
Welcome. Go ahead and introduce yourselves again. Sorry about that.
Kurt. I'm Kurt. I play guitar and do vocals.
John, vocals and guitar.
Brett, bass.
Mike, drums.
We are Thinning the Veil.
Awesome. And how did Thinning the Veil get started?
Ooh, that's a long story.
That's a long story. So three of us, Kurt, Mike, and I have been in bands since we were like, I don't know, 12 years old. The irony about that is we were actually like huge fanboys of Brett's band when we were, I don't even know, around that age.
Yeah.
Kurt moved to Tennessee for a long time, and we got word that he was coming back. Let me take your shoes off.
Yeah.
You stinky bastard. Got word that he was coming back, and we were just like, yo, we should jam. And the only person that we could think of that would fit what we were trying to do was Brett. And it's kind of a love story after that.
Very cool. Is there a special meaning behind the name Thinning the Veil?
Well, I think it could mean a lot of things to a lot of people, especially nowadays. There's a lot of things coming to light. You know, the veil to reality is getting thin, I guess.
I think even more basic than that, though, is like we Mike and I have a podcast, and we were tossing around names, and one of the podcast episode titles was Thinning the Veil, and we were like, well, hell, like that's perfect. Like,
it was really good.
You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of fit what we were trying to do. Not that we really ever had a theme necessarily. It was just us getting in a room and jamming, but like we looked back and we were tossing names around, we saw that one, we were like, well, shit, that works perfect. So,
and we're all kind of into the odd and paranormal stuff, at least reading about it and like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, it makes sense for us.
Very cool. Love that. Yeah, I love anything paranormal and spooky. So, how did you individually get into music?
Well, Kurt bought a guitar, and then Mike, you play drums since.
Yeah, I started playing drums in 4th grade. Followed in my dad, my uncle Scott, and my cousin Scotty's footsteps, all three drummers. So
yeah, so then like Kurt got the whole like pretty much like Fender starter kit basically.
Pretty much after we started listening to like what was it, Tool and the Deftones?
Yeah,
and
then
we gotta play music.
Yeah, he got a guitar, and I was like, well, shit, now I gotta do it. And then he started taking lessons. I'm like, well, now I gotta do it. So that was pretty much how it came together, and we started jamming real young, like in a shed that was like 4x4. It was small.
Your drum took up 3/4.
Yep.
And you mentioned doing a podcast. What is that about?
It's a variety of topics. Really.
Yeah, it kind of started off as like, I'll never forget, we were sitting at the tap room in Brockport one night, and a friend of ours is like, all you guys do is talk about movies. And she was like, you should just record that. And I was like, that's kind of a cool idea. And it started off basically about like horror movies, but then it kind of transformed into something else. Like we recorded at the Pratt Opera House, which is like a relatively notorious like haunted place where we live. It kind of branched out into a little bit of the paranormal, a little bit of movies, a little bit of cryptid talk,
documentary,
yeah. Like there's a pretty big umbrella that we fall under as far as that goes. And then, you know, all of us got together and found that that's like a commonality between all of us, that we enjoy, like you said, like the spooky and the paranormal.
Very cool. I'll have to check that out.
It's called
You're-
Not So
A
Quiet.
Not So Quiet Place is what it's called.
okay. And you're getting some love in the chat from Infinium. Easy
Oh,
to
what up?
join. So
Or go.
all the crew. um, who are some of your biggest musical influences?
I think that's a thing that is one of my favorite parts of this band is individually, if you were to ask us that, you're going to get completely separate answers. But as a collective, we all have a lot of common ground. So like the Deftones, Tool, Fear Factory,
Mudvayne.
there's more.
Yeah, you can go back Alice in Chains.
Yeah, I mean Genesis.
Yeah.
It goes on and on and on. And I think what's funny is when we get in a room together, all of the major influences, like we said, like Deftones, Tool, that comes forward, whether we mean it to or not. But like, I listen to a lot of like straight death metal, but that's not so pronounced. Like it gets toned down by the music that we write together in a room. It's cool. I think all those influences are there.
Yeah, I can definitely hear those influences in there, and I think that's cool too when you're taking different sounds and putting it into your own music. So, and Easy Death said, "You guys are the worst because you're too talented."
Listening to the wrong band.
Is there anyone on your playlist that might surprise people?
Ooh.
I like The Weeknd a lot. I listen to that a lot. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I'm a big G-Eazy fan.
What about Whitney Houston?
Oh, Whitney Houston. I'll tell a quick story. Like, this was years and years ago, but like Mike and one of our friends, Brian, like they showed up to my house and I was like cleaning my house like a housewife, you know, vacuuming and whatever. And I had Whitney Houston blaring that day. And I think you were both pretty like taken aback. Like, you know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can't help it, man. Like the OG shit like that, it gets me.
Yeah. That's funny because I don't know if you guys know who 18 Visions are, but the singer James had like a side project called Burn Halo for a while.
Really?
And yeah, I went to go see them at a show, and like the song that they came out to was "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston.
I was a big 18
so
Visions
weird, but
fan.
it works.
Yeah. And then like their resurgence, like their newer stuff came out and I was like, wow, I'm really glad those guys came back and they're heavy as hell now.
Yeah, I love that they brought the heavy back because
Yep.
they kind of went soft for a little bit, but yeah, they're definitely one of my influences. Who would your dream collaboration be with?
Dream collab.
Like as a band?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't even know.
Gosh, you know what? If I could sing on a record with Brock from 36 Crazy Fists, that would be like top tier to me. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just took a lot of the way that I scream and stuff from Brock. Like, I don't know if it comes through that much in what we play, but like it would be cool to get on a record with that dude and just like trade off the highs.
Yeah. Nobody
Man,
else has a dream collab?
Dude.
An Easy Death.
There,
That doesn't count for me.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, we collab with Easy Death all the time.
well, we need another one.
A dream collab.
Oh.
You have stumped Thinning the Veil.
We'll come back
Yeah,
to
I'm
that.
trying to think of something out of pocket about, but I can't.
Never thought about it.
It's all right. What is your creative process like when you're making new music?
Usually, it starts with one of us coming in with a very simple riff or an idea, and a lot of times I think, like, especially because I don't always play guitar, but like when I come in with something, typically it's more on the simplistic side, and then like Kurt will throw his flair on that, and then Brett will add to that, and then it builds and it builds and it builds, and like Parker's like a damn machine. You know what I mean? Like, kid plays drums like you read about. So it always seems to come from a very simple place, and then just builds and layers get added and added and added. And then typically, I think vocally it's changed lately, because we started off as me just like, doing a lot of screaming and a little bit of clean singing. But then we would start to write stuff, and like Kurt would throw his stuff on there, and we were like, holy shit, like this is great. So that added layer on top of what I was doing introduced a whole different element, and it's
And a lot of times I'd write the vocal melodies I do on an acoustic while I'm playing it, so I get, it's like comfortable to do rhythmically and sing, because like some people can do whatever, like Claudio Sanchez from like Coheed, he can just play any riff and still sing over it.
Yeah, I think one thing this band does is our instruments aren't. I don't think we look at it when we're writing something or we're coming up with a part. I don't think we think in the traditional sense at all, really. I think it's all pure creative. That like I know I look at bass a lot different than probably a lot of other people do. Like I personally, I look at bass as you could do melody with it, rhythm, you could do all kinds of stuff, and I just don't have it basically carrying the low end and stuff like that. And what John and Kurt bring, guitar, it's like it adds to the atmospheric
that's a good way to put it.
feeling to our music.
I like that description. An Easy Dust said Mike is the living embodiment of a collab with himself. And Carrie is requesting more acoustic.
Ooh. We literally, like, we'll be honest, like, we fought the idea of doing the acoustic thing, and then I think individually all kind of like started to play around with it a little bit, and then kind of fell in love with it. Like, we did it very simple, very stripped down, and then we got in a room together and put that together and made the video, and it was really like no big production. It just kind of came together, and I actually really still love that to this day, that we were able to do it. And that song especially, because we tossed around the ideas of songs, but like that song especially fits so well for that idea, and I'm still proud of how it came out. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it's our second song we had released called "My Only Disguise," and I think it's just on Facebook, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's uploaded anywhere else, but
we did for now. We'll probably throw it up on our YouTube channel or something in the future.
Nah, it was cool. It was out of our comfort zone, very outside of the box of how we write and do things, but it came together so quickly, and I'm glad that we did it, because it was kind of a breath of fresh air. Like, oh yeah, we can do this.
Yeah. I love when bands take I love when bands take, their own songs and like do acoustic or strip versions of it, because it like brings a totally different feel to it. It's super comforting. Like, I tell Carrie, one of my favorite albums that I listen to like all the time is Wage War's Stripped Sessions.
Oh,
like,
that Johnny Cash song.
Oh my God, yes. This is one of my favorites.
Still gets me every single time.
So good. But yeah, definitely more acoustic. You guys should listen to Carrie.
we're not opposed after like doing that. We're definitely not opposed to the idea. So
Yeah, it's fun to take something that's heavy and be like, how can we make this nice sounding?
bunch of nice boys.
Is there a song of yours that means the most to you?
Whoa. I think that's another thing that can be broken down individually. From a lyrical standpoint, my favorite one is Blot, but my favorite one to perform is Structures. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about all those songs, but
I love all the songs for different reasons, and I guess I'm gonna say that intro to "Smell the Pine" is still like very cool, very atmospheric. But this new one that we're going to be recording is, I love everything about that song, and I cannot wait for everybody to hear it.
yeah, it's fair.
Anybody have anything different?
I don't know, man. Like I think we took so Blot was one of the first songs we ever wrote, and then over the course of playing shows and studio and stuff, we decided to rework it. And I think that one, outside of the new one we have, but I think that one still it gets me every time. Like I love playing and singing. I don't play, but I love singing that song. It took. I don't typically write as direct as I did in that one. Like a lot of times when I write, there are some metaphors, but that one is as direct as you can get. And you know, I mean that it's like therapy every time we play it.
Yeah. It's a good song. Like I can feel, what you're feeling through it, and that's a sign of a good musician. So good job.
That's the goal anyway.
What is the funniest or craziest thing that's ever happened at a show?
Oh, probably playing through a PA speaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, just my head blowing up. That
Just my head blowing up.
Or bypassing your amp and just having this.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So one of the last shows we played, we were having some issues with a power cord because I forgot my power cord, and I borrowed one from the venue, and it just fritzed out. So he decided to go direct in, which bypassed my head, which only gave me a clean channel. So literally, like through our songs that I was playing guitar, it was only clean. So it sounded like it, basically an acoustic guitar through our heavy songs. But yeah, you live in
It is what it is.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty interesting. Do you guys have a pre-show ritual?
shake violently. Try not to shit myself.
That's always the goal.
Don't eat anything all day. Try not to have more than one drink.
Yeah.
I think it's a shot and a beer. I think that's pretty much it. That's
Yeah.
pretty much the standard across the board. It's a shot and a beer, and then we get up there and do our thing.
Nice. What is the best advice you've ever been given?
Don't bang your head against the wall with a song. Like,
That's
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing I think we do really, really well is we've got a backlog of songs that we want to eventually put out there, but like you can only play a certain part or a certain song so many times until it's like you stop enjoying it. And then you just put that on the shelf and then work, move towards something else that does work. I think that's fair to say for all of us. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a mistake to continually just go over and over with something that doesn't work. And you have to find a common ground with everybody in the band for something that does work and move forward with that.
Yeah, sometimes something that sounds super cool by itself, like a riff, you get it to band practice, and it's just like, this does not work as a band.
Yeah, and you can keep going over and over again, but
You got to be able to cut your ego off and be like, all right, this is cool that I made this, but it doesn't work. You know what I mean? And just let's move on. And you got to be open to that. That's a constant thing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely good advice, especially for a band. Because sometimes it's going to sound good to you or good a certain way, and then just not fit with the song. So and Easy Death wants to know when are we going to see Thinning the Veil play Buffalo?
Shit.
Well, we'll have to
Sooner the better.
Sooner the better.
Yep.
I'll have to have an Easy Death talk to our manager.
Get on that. What advice would you give your younger self?
Stay away from drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't start smoking.
You know,
I like cigarettes. I don't mind.
yeah, I mean, I think in all of our youth, that was the biggest thing. Not the biggest thing, but one of the biggest things is like you know, you're young and you do stupid stuff and it interferes with the music, and I wish we would have focused much more on our earlier projects. Not that they would have gone anywhere, but that's what's kind of cool about us now is like we're all a little bit older. You know, we have like real adult lives, and when we are able to get together, even though it's not as much as probably other people are able to get together, we get to focus. You know, I always make the joke like I haven't had an adult conversation in like 7 days because I'm talking to a 3-year-old all the time. You know, but like we're able to focus and we really, really care about it now, and it's a good place to be.
Yeah, I know I really look forward to coming to practice and creating with these guys, and then you know we're recording on the phone and then sending the videos into our group chat so we can work on what we just wrote to try to make it even better.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think that's the thing is like the bottom line is like don't take it for granted, because even when you're young, like you know, this stuff can go away so easily, and now that we're older and able to focus, like I don't take any practice for granted. Like,
Yeah.
you know, even if we're 4 dudes in a room drinking beer, that's awesome. But the fact that we get to do what we do, it's a bonus every time.
Yeah, I feel like too, like when we were growing up, there's a lot of bands that, you know, basically did drugs all the time. So that's like the role models you had to look up to. So, you know, nowadays I think it's a lot more, you know, accepted to not be wasted on stage, which definitely isn't a good thing, because who wants to go see somebody that can't even barely get a word out, falling over all the stage and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's understood.
Yeah. What do you guys do for fun outside of music?
Hang out with a 3-year-old.
Probably what typical play video games, watch movies, watch
a shit ton of horror movies.
Yeah.
That is one thing that Mike and I do on the regular.
Yep.
And it's not specifically horror, but like that tends to be where we go. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, sleep when we can.
Work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you don't have a lot of time for too many hobbies. Guitar going, and then besides that, to zone out and just escape. I'll do video games usually.
Yeah.
Just for me, that works. It makes me not think about anything. Gets out of my head.
Yeah. I like to read a lot too. That's
You do read
that's
a lot.
another
This
thing
mother-
too.
He has a library on his side.
I hear An Easy Death likes the Twilight movies, if you're into that sort of thing.
Those boys
That
are
makes
sparkly.
sense.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw
I
Nick
believe it.
and Corey sparkle in the sun the last time. If you can get them in the sun, that is.
Yeah, they're too busy in their basement.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, Carrie said your 3-year-old is sassy. She's heard the stories.
He is fiery. Like, it's battle every day.
Yeah, little girls are definitely sassy. Mine just turned 8, and she's a handful. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with her when she gets to be a teenager. It's already bad.
Can't even think about it. I'm taking it a day at a time here.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you can do. What was the first concert you ever went to?
First concert I ever went to was, I think it was Live in Counting Crows.
And mine was Van Halen, but I didn't know any Van Halen. So this sounded like static to me. But my real first show, I would say, was at Seven Dust and
And Dope, right?
Static X.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what we
yeah.
all went to. too,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, we all happened to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then be in a band later on.
Yeah.
I think my
Oh.
first one was Aerosmith with Guns N' Roses opening up for
Oh wow.
him.
Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember, to be honest.
It's funny to say, like, the music that I listen to now, that Live in Counting Crows was my first show, but it was good. It was
Live's a
fantastic.
really good band.
Yep.
Yep. Some of the classics back then. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Whew.
I'm torn. I'd either pick something like what Wolverine has, regenerate, or invisibility because I would be a menace.
I'd say invisibility, but I feel like that makes me sound like a creep.
Yeah.
I would be a menace.
It's like, I feel like being invisible, like that movie with Kevin Bacon. What was that called?
Hollow Man.
Hollow Man. Like, he was good, and then he went devious.
Mm.
I would just, I love making myself laugh at other people's expenses.
Well, there's that too.
You know.
I'd like to teleport. That'd be great.
Mm.
Because then I
That'd
can
be
see
nice.
my parents, because I love them and I'm a good boy.
Oh, listen to this guy. Nice boys. They like to drink a few beers, but they love their parents.
Did everybody go?
No.
I don't know.
Listen, you Wolverine, you.
Not Agent would be nice.
See? Yeah, no shit, right?
Like Wolverine.
We get done with practice and we're all like, knees and backs are cracking and shit.
Teleporting would be nice too, though, because then I wouldn't have to waste time getting home from work.
Yeah, no shit. I feel that.
I feel like teleporting would be good for bands too, because then you could just teleport to the next gig. Don't have to
Oh, yeah.
travel.
If we could teleport from our cars to the back of the venue to the stage, that would
How about teleport from the bed to the bathroom?
be that too.
No, that's just
Covering all grounds.
All right, an easy death has a question for Brett.
Oh.
What's it like being the headmaster of Hogwarts?
You're a wizard, Harry.
Great.
You kind of are like the headmaster. Like, you keep us all in check for the most part.
Well, it's hard being the youngest,
Yeah, there is that.
Oh, your daughter loved that.
Yeah, I know. Cracking up.
Well, you do seem very wise, so
It's just because I look wise. That's what the beard does. It makes people think you're very wise.
yep. Are you guys working on any new music?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, our newest one,
Lots
the
of
one that
it.
we're going to take into, well, we have a bunch, but the newest one we're going to take into the studio, we're really excited about. We played it for the first time in Photo City
Last week.
last week, yeah. But I think this one is going to be, it's definitely up there with my favorites. It's my favorite to play, but I think it's going to be a big deal.
And I think we were touching here and there throughout the evening on some of the questions about new music, especially like the writing process and the question about advice. We have some decent compositions that we have. Just sometimes like they're So you have to put it on shelf, come back with it for fresh ears and a touch on it. And as we go, we have this one that's just, it's going to be amazing when it's done. I just know it. But it's been going through its process, different versions and stuff like that. And once it gets there, but this new one is going to be that we're going to be recording what, in 3
January
weeks?
7th. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming up quick.
Do you remember what you said when we started this band? Every time we would come out with a new song that we leveled up.
Yeah, we leveled
And I
up.
think we keep
I
doing
think
that.
that's yeah. I still feel the same way. Like I feel like everything we do gets better and better and better.
We're on a path, and it's, you get that feeling of how we're writing, and from the beginning into where we're at right now, you can definitely see a progression in a path that it's going, and I'm pretty excited about what's going to come next.
That's awesome. Definitely something to look forward to. I know it's almost the end of the year, but do you guys have any upcoming shows, either before the year end or beginning of next year?
We got Photo City is what,
Yeah, in March.
March 14th?
Yeah, that's our net for right now, but we'll book.
Definitely focusing on getting the new one solid for the studio. I'm gonna take some time with this one because we really we're proud of this one. So I think the work is gonna be there, and I think it's gonna translate once we get to the studio. And then March 14th is really the only thing we have booked after that
For right now.
for right now.
Okay, very cool. All right, did you want to tell people how they can follow you, where they can find your music?
It's everywhere you can find it. Spotify, iTunes, you name it. We just put out a lyric video for My Only Disguise. That's on YouTube. Other than that, it's pretty across the board. We're everywhere if you want to hear us. So,
Yep, all the streaming platforms. As far as social media right now, just Facebook and Instagram at the moment. You know, and of course our YouTube channel.
yeah, YouTube's pretty fresh. We're still getting our stuff up there, but yeah, Facebook, Insta, that's the way to go right now.
Okay, awesome. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I definitely can't wait to hear the new stuff. Everything I've heard so far is awesome, and it was great talking to you guys. We'll have to talk to you again once you have some new music out. Maybe we can do some updates.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Absolutely.
good. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. You guys have a great rest of your night.
Dude,
Thanks,
thank
man.
you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.